It's 3:43 in the morning at this home in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Inside, a local restaurant manager is sleeping in one room, her male housemaid in another, when three men, guns drawn, bust in and start casing the place. The house is stacked to the ceiling with boxes and restaurant supplies. One of the intruders even turns on a light, making it easier to see the suspects on the homeowner's high-tech surveillance cameras.
Gwinnett County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
The homeowner wakes up and calls 911. But is disconnected. The homeowner comes out of the back bedroom and stares down the barrel of the gun pointed at her face. One of the suspects escapes by running through a glass door at the rear of the house. The other two scramble to get out the front door. As the dust settles, the terrified homeowner and her guest take stock of what just happened. She gives her now empty gun to her friend and finally connects with 911.
Hello? Hi.
Hi, this is Gwinnett County Police Department. Someone down 911 from your cell phone. Did you need
911, yes. Somebody come in my house. They got a gun.
In the end, the two survived without injury and nothing was stolen. Police arrived to find that one of the intruders, the man in the black wig, was shot. He died in the driveway of the home. Another suspect, Bernard Little, was recently arrested. He was charged with felony murder and his trial is pending. 38% of all assaults take place during home invasion crimes. These two men walk up to a suburban home. They spot a security camera, but it's not enough to deter them from what they came to do. They ring the bell and the homeowner answers. They pretend to be landscapers and step inside. The men push their way past the homeowners. They make it clear they are after money. Seconds later, this happens. The homeowner is on top of the assailant, beating him. The homeowner's cries for help catch the attention of a gardening crew. The three men across the street freeze and watch from a distance as the fight unfolds. This assailant manages to escape and run. The homeowner runs back inside and checks on his family. Inside, he finds his wife and two children are being held at gunpoint by the second assailant. The homeowner grabs his own gun out of a drawer, and after another struggle, he shoots and kills the other assailant in self-defense. Killed at the scene is 58-year-old Larry Brodach. Nearby, the police arrest his accomplice, 38-year-old Bradley J. Finnan. Finnan tells police that 20 years ago, he'd seen $200,000 in that house, believed it was still there, and came to steal it. He is charged with murder and home invasion. At the time of this production, the case is pending. In the state of Illinois, if a suspect takes part in a felony offense that leads to someone else's death, they can be charged with murder. Night has fallen on the city of Manchester, England. And this man is taking advantage of an unlocked door at this home. Homeowner Asif Ali pummels one attacker into submission as another man comes through the door. The only thought in Asif's mind is protecting his wife, who is battling cancer and is sleeping upstairs. But then, a third intruder attacks. The homeowner is somehow able to chase all 3 intruders out the door. But one intruder is not giving up. The man appears to be holding some kind of weapon. Asif realizes he needs to better protect himself and his wife. Asif runs. Coming back from the kitchen with a knife. As one intruder flees, 2 others are still outside in the courtyard. One tosses a brick at the door. Asif's wife, Charlotte, comes down the stairs, cell phone in hand, as she calls the police. On nearby surveillance, we can see one of the intruders leaving the scene. He's on a cell phone, perhaps reaching out to his getaway driver. So far, the 3 home invaders, plus a lookout man and a getaway driver, have yet to be arrested. Asif and Charlotte have offered a reward. It's 1:30 in the morning at this home in Idaho Falls. Time for lounging, watching a little TV, and checking your phone. You would hope that anyone who comes calling at this hour is family or a friend. Not this time.
Sit down, boys. Right now. I'm Caspian Shamo,
And I'm Isabel Shamo.
and we survived a home invasion robbery.
We just got home from a date and I was pretty tired and I was just scrolling through my phone, halfway watching the documentary.
We went out and did one of those escape rooms, so we were pretty tuckered out from that, ready to relax.
And then I just hear a loud bang and the door flies open.
I've got a couple of roommates that live downstairs, so having people come in and out at all hours of the night isn't super odd, but I kind of noticed him and I did a double take. Sit down, boys. Right now.
I just didn't know what was happening at first. I was just in shock.
The intruder orders Caspian to take a seat. Then he turns his attention and his shotgun toward Caspian's fiancée on the couch.
I definitely feared for my life whenever I saw that shotgun pointed at me. I've never been in a situation where a loaded gun was pointed at my face, and it was a shock and kind of my life flashed before my eyes.
Did you think we would be here? We had to.
Caspian reacts in a flash, grabbing the shotgun barrel.
Instinct kicked in and I wasn't letting go of that shotgun. At that moment, just straight adrenaline, I would say.
Caspian knows his fiancée is still in the room. She rolls off the couch. He barks an order.
I actually yelled for the roommate, and that was all I could muster out.
Caspian is actually being dragged down the stairs, still holding that death grip on the shotgun barrel, as the intruder is now on his own version of an escape room.
I immediately, as soon as I felt safe enough, ran and called 911 and tried to help the best I could, best I knew how.
It's becoming painfully clear to this home invader.
I told him, wrong house, Buster. He was fully in agreement. As we hit the stairs, it was a change in power for sure. He slipped as it was icy. I overtook him, got the weapon away from him.
The imminent threat is over, a moment for the couple to relax. Caspian is now armed in self-defense, but hopefully won't need to use his weapons. But 2 minutes later, an angry knock at the door and an unbelievable request.
I opened the door and he was asking for his shotgun back. And so we told him no, of course, and he tried to force his way back into the house.
The suspect finally fled the scene, still without his shotgun, which was loaded but never fired. Caspian turned it over to the police as he relived the sickening events.
The police were almost arriving. See sirens coming up, lights flashing around the block, and he started heading back out the door again, and they intercepted him there by his vehicle. So when the police showed up, Then they wanted me to walk through the situation with them, and I hadn't even really fully processed it yet. I just got incredibly adrenaline high. I mean, my whole entire body was shaking. I was sweating. My face was bright red, and so I puked. It kind of all washes over you. I mean, when you're in the midst of it, you don't feel any of those things happening. But as soon as it kind of calms down, you're like, holy crap, this is really pretty crazy.
I'm just glad that you were there and you were able to take action so quickly. And I felt safe before, but now I feel extra safe. I know that he'll protect me no matter what.
And having somebody to go through it with is certainly nice too.
The Archers are fast asleep this Saturday morning when they hear an alarming sound coming from their front door.
Beth reaches over and pushes me and says, someone's ringing the doorbell.
I saw this man come back towards the house and he had the shovel in his hand, and Joey said, go take care of the girls. My name is Beth.
And my name is Joey, and we survived an assault and home invasion.
I woke up to the sound of the doorbell and someone was ringing it furiously.
So I wonder if it's one of my neighbors, maybe one of my neighbors needs help, I don't know. And I was thinking all this as I was running down our hallway to the front door.
While Joey runs to see who's at the door, Beth looks at their security cameras.
When I opened up my phone and started looking at the cameras, I saw that my car was not in the driveway any longer. And I saw this man who was outside our house, and he had something in his hand and he was trying to get into my husband's truck. And I'm like, Joey, he's trying to break into your car.
It was a horrible moment. My wife's car was in the bushes. There was a gas can that was not where I left it, laying on its side, open. And there was a strange person with a shovel beating on my truck. I wasn't gonna go outside and confront him. It wasn't worth it.
Joey calls the police as he watches the man destroy his car.
He took the shovel and tried to pry open the doors of the truck. And then that didn't work, and so he took the shovel and just started hitting the truck to break the window.
He climbed in and out of the truck through the window. As he turned towards the house, my immediate reaction was to protect my family.
Their two daughters are still asleep in their rooms.
Joey said, go take care of the girls. And they're like, Mom, what's happening? And I just told him, I said, listen, there's somebody trying to break into our house right now. I said, I need you guys to get up, and I need you to climb out the window, and I need you to run to the barn and hide there.
As the girls run to the barn to hide, the man approaches the house, shovel in hand.
He took the shovel and hit the window once, twice, and the frame went flying. And at that moment, the shovel was sitting right in front of me. I grabbed it, yanked it out of his hand, hooked him in the head with it twice, pretty hard. And then he kind of stumbled out of the doorway, and then I opened the doorway and chased him out front.
Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground.
I screamed at him until he got on the ground and got on his knees. And at that moment, the cops came.
Just as Joey has the man immobilized on the ground, the police arrive.
Put your hands up. Stay right there.
They arrest the intruder. The family has chosen not to identify the man due to safety concerns. He is charged with attempted burglary and vandalism-related charges. At the time of this production, the case is still pending. Joey and Beth looked through their security camera footage to find out what happened.
We discovered that he had actually been on our property for about 30 minutes before he came to our door and rang the doorbell. He had jumped over the fence. He went down to our barn. He rummaged around in one of our vehicles that was parked near the barn. He did all those other things that we hadn't seen yet, where he had moved our car, had tried to get into the truck. And all of those things happened before we woke up, before we were involved in it at all. That's a little bit scary to know that this was happening, and of course we're not aware of it because we're asleep.
The Archers pick up the pieces of their broken door and try to repair their broken sense of security.
Probably took me a good week before I could function normally.
We are survivors, but even more than that, we're overcomers. We're gonna take what we've experienced and we're gonna grow and we're gonna be stronger for everything that we've faced.
Get down on the ground, get down on the ground!
It's 10:30 a.m. Tamika Reed is enjoying time at home with her children, including her 5-year-old son, David. But she's suddenly interrupted by a knock at the door and these armed intruders who burst in. Tamika slowly backs away, but the 4 assailants rush her with guns drawn. David watches as his mom lures the men from the room away from her son. Not knowing what to do, David wanders for a brief few seconds. Then David picks up his own weapon, a toy car. He raises it over his head, approaches one assailant, and throws it at him as hard as he can. David chases the suspect into an adjacent room where 2 other assailants hold Tamika and another male at gunpoint. David punches and kicks the suspect, then grabs his arm to try to drag him away from his mother. He hangs on, oblivious to any danger he's in. No one knows why, but the suspects flee without taking anything. Tamika says the entire time she was terrified something would happen to her kids. She calls David her hero. David says he was just trying to protect his mom. Police are still searching for the men who invaded Tamika and David's home. They remain at large. Police say David was just trying to defend his home and that it's now up to law enforcement and the public to defend David and find the suspects.